So now guys, we are going to talk about margin of safety. So it is also obviously the second part of break-even point. In the first video, we discussed about how to calculate margin of break-even point in dollar and break-even point in revenue, and we discussed about the assumptions. Now we are talking about margin of safety. So here we go. What is the definition of margin of safety? It is very small concept. So margin of safety is the excess of budgeted sales over break-even sales. For example, actually you will apply this formula. You will take planned sales. Planned sales means a budgeted sales. Okay, if you will deduct from their break-even sales. Okay, so what you will get margin of safety. For example, margin of safety could be in dollar also. It could be in units. So let me just give you example first. For example, let's take in the units first. Units. So let's say my planned sale are 10,000 units, and my break-even sales in units are, for example, 6,000 units. So it means my margin of safety is 4,000 units. What it means? Now link this point. So I'm talking about units only. It means, now please remember this point. So margin of safety is 4,000 units with you. If your actual sale will decrease by 4,000 exact units. If actual sale will decrease by 4,000 units. So actually exactly by 4,000 units. So you will be at break-even point, exactly at break-even point. But if your actual sale is decreased by more than 4,000 units, maybe it has decreased by 5,000 units, 6,000 units, then for sure you would be in loss. But if your actual sale is decreased by less than 4,000 units, for example, maybe your actual sale is is decreased by only 2,000 or maybe 1,000 units, then you would be in the profit. So that is why it is called margin of safety. So what is margin of safety? It is the excess. Excess means over, okay, a difference of budgeted sales over the break-even sales. So that is why it's also written, it is the amount by which sales can be declined before loss occur. So as I give you example, if margin of safety is 4,000 units, it means if your sale will decline exactly by 4,000 units, you will be at break-even point. If your sale will decline more than 4,000 units, you will be in the loss. If your sale would decline by less than 4,000 units, you will be in the profit. That's what it's called, margin of safety, how safe you are. Okay. Then this can also be calculated. The margin of safety can also be calculated in revenue. Revenue means how? I'll show you formula. Don't worry. I'm just writing. So we can calculate in dollars also. How? Here you have to take planned sales in dollar minus break-even sales in dollar. So you will get your margin of safety. Obviously, planned sale is greater than break-even sale. So then it is margin of safety. So margin of safety means say your planned sale should be more, not should be less. Understood? So now if I want to convert data, okay, into percentages, so I can do both way. First, I can use margin of safety. If I'm using units, I'll take margin of safety in units divided by planned sales in units and multiply by 100. So this will give you margin of safety ratio. If I'm using dollars, so I'll take margin of safety in dollar, okay, divided by planned sale in dollar, multiply by 100, is it will give you margin of safety ratio. And ratio would be same. Either you are going to use units or you are going to use a dollar. Understood? So here we go. Let me just first do one small example with you. Then I'll show you exam standard question. So here we go, guys. For example, here we have example. Let's assume a manufacturer. Manufacturer's product has unit selling price is $0.6. Unit variable cost is $0.2. Fixed cost are $10,000. And we have a planned sale, which is also called budgeted sales. We have 35,000 units. And we have to calculate margin of safety. So we'll see. So guys, obviously, to get the margin of safety, we need budgeted sales minus break-even sales. So first, that's why we need to work break-even sales. Okay, I'm going to calculate your break-even point in units and break-even point in dollar, because both we need to understand margin of safety in units and margin of safety in dollar. So to get the break-even point, first I'll calculate unit contribution margin. I'll take unit selling price, which is 0.6 given in the question here. Okay, minus unit variable cost, which is given 0.2. It is equals unit contribution margin, which is 0.4. So now I can calculate break-even point in in units. Break even. So what was the formula we studied in the last video? Fixed cost divided by unit contribution margin. Fixed cost is 10,000, unit contribution margin is 0.4. I'll get 25,000 units. Break even point in units. Understood? So if I want to calculate break-even point in dollar, I'll take fixed cost divided by contribution margin ratio. Fixed cost is 10,000, we know. So what about contribution margin ratio? How I can calculate? I will take unit contribution margin divided by unit selling price. Unit contribution margin is 0.4, we calculated here. Unit selling price is 0.6, it is given in the question. 0.6, 0.6, not 0.06, 0.6. It is 0.6. And multiply by 100, so you will get a marginal, contribution margin ratio 66.667%. And this contribution margin, if I'll take fixed cost divided by contribution margin ratio, because if I'll remove the percentage from this value, it will be equal to 0.66667. So you will get break-even point in dollar, how much? 15,000. This is in dollar. We got both. We got break-even point in unit. We got break-even point in dollar. In units in dollar. Now we are moving to the margin of safety. So here we go. Please, we are discussing, or now we are calculating actually a margin of safety. Okay, margin of safety calculation. So here we go. First, we are calculating margin of safety in units. How I'll take margin of safety in units? I'll take margin of safety is equal to planned sales in units. Units we have to use. Minus break-even sales in units. Units I have to take. Planned sale, it's a budgeted sale 35,000 given in the question. Break-even sales in units we calculated in the first step 25,000. So 35 minus 25. So margin of safety is 10,000 units. Now I can convert into percentage. I can calculate margin of safety ratio also. What is the formula? I'll take margin of safety in units divided by planned sales in units multiply by 100. So margin of safety in units is how much? 10,000. And planned sale in units is how much? 35,000. So it is going to be 28.6%. Obviously, if I'll multiply with the 100. So you will get into percentage. Now, on the other hand, if you want to calculate margin of safety in dollar, if you want to calculate. Okay. So how you will take, you need, first you need margin of safety in dollar, how you need planned sales in dollar. This is dollar we need, minus break-even sales in dollar we need. Planned sale means what? How you can calculate planned sales in dollar? You need budgeted units, which are given 35,000, and times budgeted sale price, which is 0.6. This will give you planned sale of 21,000. From there, you will deduct break-even sales in dollar. And break-even sales in dollar, we have calculated in step number 1, which is 15,000. So 21,000 minus 15,000, you will get margin of safety in dollar, $6,000. Now, if you will calculate if you want to calculate margin of safety ratio by using dollar values, I'll take margin of safety in dollar, which is 6,000, divided by planned sales in dollar, which is 21,000. Okay, so if I multiply by 100, so you will get again 28.6%. Understood? So we can interpret these also, these ratios. For example, if your real sale will exactly decrease by 28.6% in units or in dollar, so you will be at break-even point. But if your real sale will increase by bigger proportion than 28.6, maybe it will, if it will decrease by 35%, you would be lost. If your real sale will decrease by lesser portion than this amount, maybe it is decreased by 20, then you would be in the profit, as I told you earlier. So here we go. Now, guys, we have here the question here. The question is what? When an organization is operating above the break-even point, obviously the excess over the break-even point is called margin of safety. We know. The degree or amount that sales may decline before loss or income is called what? Obviously margin of safety. Right or wrong? Because you are safe with this margin, so it is margin of safety definition actually. We have here another question. So, for example, a firm is considering discontinuing a certain product line if it does not have a margin of safety higher than 15%. So actually what they're saying, if margin of safety is less than 15%, so you are going to discontinue that product. Okay. A break-even sales are given $76,800, and this is break-even sales. And margin of safety is given in $13,200. So it means I can calculate budgeted sales, right? So because margin of safety is equal to budgeted sales minus break-even sales. If margin of safety is given 13,200 given here in dollar, break-even sale is given how much? 76,800. Okay, it means I can calculate budgeted sales. How? Obviously, the difference of if I layer these two value, margin of safety plus break even, it will be equal to budgeted sales. So budgeted sales will be 90,000. I'm not sure. I guess it is going to be 90,000. Just check it. Because 90,000 minus 76,800 is going to be 13,200. Okay, so this we got budgeted sales. Why? I calculated because we need. Then they're saying that based on this information, the controller has recommended that the firm keep this product line because the data, the product, obviously this data is relevant to a specific project. They are saying that, so the controller is saying that we should keep it. Why we should keep it? Because margin of safety is greater than 15%. This is what controller is saying. Okay. Then that's why controller is saying keep this product, don't discontinue. So then they're saying, did the controller make the appropriate decision? So we have to calculate margin of safety actually. So because controller is saying margin of safety is more than 15, so let's calculate it is more than 15 or not. So here we go. How you will calculate margin of safety ratio R into percentage? How? We'll take margin of safety, which is here 13,200, divide by budgeted sale, which is 90,000. If you will convert into percentage into ratio, it is going to be, I guess, it is going to be 14.7%. Just check it on your calculator. If it is 14.7, so controller is saying correct? No. Controller is saying it is more than 15%. We should keep. But actually, we should not keep because our margin safety is 14.7%, which is less than 15. So that's why which option is correct? No, because the margin of safety is 14.7% is not better than 15. So we should discontinue. He's not saying correct. If you will see here also is written no. Okay, because margin of safety is 17.2. No, margin of safety is not 17.2. It is 14.7. So option C is correct. Answer is not in the yes. Understood, guys? I hope so it is clear. Now, I want to tell you one more point that is called what? Indifference point. And sometimes these questions are also tested in your exam. Okay, so here we go. Let me explain first what does mean by indifference point in break-even analysis. Let me just give you first example. So here we go. Let's start. They're saying, and the indifference point is the point at which management is indifferent to the choice between two options. Okay. Like, for example, I'm just giving you example. Example is what? If, for example, you have an option which is red. Red means it's just, maybe you can say it is investment A. You have an option to invest in option A, and you have an option B also, maybe blue also. There you can also invest. Both result in operating income of 100,000. Okay, like if, for example, if you will invest in the stock of company A or in any project A or in any project B, for example, both project is giving you same operating profit and it has same cost structure also. Now, obviously, guys, if you have to choose one, so there is no matter for you, right or wrong, based on the facts, based on the profits, either you will choose A or you will choose B. It is not going to make any difference for you. So that is why if you are in a situation where you got a two option and both option gives you same result, so you can choose option A, you can choose option B. So here this point is called indifferent point. What is indifference point? Indifference point is the point at which management is indifferent to the choice between two options, like because both options give you same result. Okay, so either you can choose A or B. It is not going to make any difference for you. So that point where you are indifferent, you cannot select, oh, this is better. You cannot say this option is better or this is worse. Both are equal. So that point, whenever you got that option where both options are equal, so we say we are indifferent here. Understood? And how it is tested in a question. So let me help you with the help of example. So here we go. Indifference point I'm going to tell you here, and then I'm going to explain some implications for that. For example, assume you are a lessor. Lessor means that you are going to give your property on rent, for example. So you are a lessor. So a lessor can rent property to either of two lessees. So you can rent your property to two people. One person, the first person, one lessee offers a rental fee of 100,000 per year. He's saying he will pay you fixed rent of 100,000 plus he will pay you 2% of revenue as commission, for example, or share of revenue. So this is what is going to be your rental income. Okay, so I can write this way also. Oh, and other lessee offers $20,000 per year. So 20,000 is a fixed value. Plus he offer you 5% of the revenue. That 5% of revenue you can take. Like one is offer is what? So one offer is 100,000 plus 2% of revenue. Second option is 20,000 rent plus 5% of revenue. Okay, now look at here. Now guys, you are into two options. You got a two option from lessee A, option from lessee B. Now guys, actually you want to calculate, for example, what do you want to calculate? You want to calculate the amount of revenue here, or you want to calculate the indifference point. Indifference point. Okay, whenever you want to calculate the indifference point, so you have, please look at here. Okay, what you have to do. So the solution to find out the indifference point and to find out the solution of this. So what we have to do, we have to equate the two formulas as follow. How we will equate? We'll write first option. First option is what? Fixed rent of 100,000 plus 2% of revenue. We'll equate this first equation with the second. Second equation is what? Fixed rent of 20,000 plus 5% of the revenue. So if we will solve this option now, these two equations, and if we will find the amount of revenue, okay, like what should be the revenue, amount of revenue, where both option A and option B will give you same amount of rent. So what should be the amount of revenue? So that revenue we are going to find. How you will find? I'm just solving directly. So we have here obviously this revenue and this revenue. If you will mathematically, if you will do, maybe you can move this to this side or this to this side of the equation. So 0, it will be, net off. So if you will take 0.2 revenue and 0.5 revenue, if you will do net off, mathematically I'm solving. So it will give you what? 0.3 revenue. I hope, I'm assuming you know the math. And obviously, if you will move this side, 100,000 to this, or maybe 20,000 to this, again it will be net off because both are positive. If one value will move to other, it will become negative. So obviously, guys, so it will be the net answer 100,000 minus 20,000. It is going to be 80,000. So it means the equation is what? 0.3 percent of revenue, 0.3 revenue equals 80,000. Now I want to find the revenue. So revenue, how I'll calculate? I'll take 80,000 divided by 0.3. Because all I want to find. So if I take 80 minus divided by 0.3, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get revenue of $2,666,667. So 2.66 million, for example, is the value. It means R stands for revenue here, right? It means if revenue, please remember, if revenue is this value 2.666667, so this option will also give you same rental income and this option will also give you same rental income. It means at this point, at this amount of revenue, so both option will give you same amount of rent. It means you are at indifference point. So let's prove it. So you can prove it. So you can prove it. The amount of rent is going to be same. For example, first option, option 1. Option 1 is what? You have fixed amount of rent 100,000. 100,000 plus 0. Sorry, 0.02 of revenue. Revenue is how much? Here, put this revenue. 2666667. And if you will solve it, you will get answer here. And solve the other side of equation also. Okay. If you will take 220,000 fixed rent plus 0.05 of revenue. Revenue is how much? 2666667. Understood? If you will solve it, you will get another answer and both answer will be same. You can solve on your calculator. Both answer will be same. It means at this amount of revenue, both option give you same result, same rental income, so you are indifferent. Now, please remember here. Now, how? Because if you want to calculate indifference point here, So simply you have to equate these two sides of equation. Just equate. Write one equation equals write other equation and find the value, missing value R. Here R is the value. It could be any other value. So here we got the R. Now what is the decision? Please remember, it means if revenue is equal to this value, so you will get the same amount of rental income in option A, will get the same amount of rental income in option B. So you are at the difference point. Because it doesn't matter for you, you are going to choose first option or second option because it is producing same results. Now please remember here. So, but here, this is another now. Indifference point is over, but here other point I want to tell you from your decision point of view. If revenues are expected to be less than this value, if you're expecting that no, revenue would be less than actual revenue, could be less than this value, then please remember, because this is variable portion, right? 2% of revenue. If you expect your revenues are going to be less than that, please then you should choose that option where fixed cost is more. This option is better for you. If you think no, revenue is going to be more than this, then best option for you where you got a variable portion, bigger variable portion, then this option is better. It means if you are expecting revenue will be less than this, the option with bigger fixed cost is preferable. If you feel your revenue would be greater than that value, greater than this value, then the option with variable portion is better option for you. But this is the indifference point R, where R would be equal to this. This would be your indifference point. I hope so it is clear.